What's going on, everyone? And today we are going to be looking at my 1 week CPU mining profits. Now we're only doing 1 week because I just finished finally doing that RTM Raptoreum test. So I've been mining for about a week straight now on these CPUs. So we're going to figure out how much I actually did make in the past week here. So in the comments on my last video, some of you guys were asking me about the GPU on these rigs. So as you know, 3900X Ryzen CPUs do not have integrated graphics. They are working on G models of like the 5000 series and stuff, and those ones do, but these 3900Xs do not have integrated graphics and require GPUs in order to boot. Now some people thought I had everything linked to this one here. This one with the GPU is in Windows. That way I can go in, check on it, put it up on the TV up here and check everything out, because this is also farming my Chia and everything. I do want to try to kind of move my Chia over to something else. That way I can throw this on HiveOS as well. But all these 5 other rigs, they are running in HiveOS individually without GPUs. Now in order to get these to boot without a GPU, I'm not 100% sure if it's motherboard specific or not. I did read up that some ASICs in the BIOS, their motherboards, do have a boot through errors type of function you have to turn on. For these X470s MSI Gaming Maxes, I did go into the BIOS and I changed the GPU dedication to skip loading from the GPU. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I did that across these 3, and then I left these ones on auto, and they ended up to boot in the HiveOS just fine, 100% with no issues. So I'm not sure if it's a motherboard thing or if it's just because Windows, everyone wants it. But I did notice previously to previous times that I did need a GPU and they wouldn't even boot up. So it's quite interesting that running Linux and HiveOS, that these did boot without any GPUs in them. And the main big advantage of having these boot without a GPU is that I only have to pay 30 cents per rig in HiveOS instead of $3 like you'd have to use on a GPU mining rig, this one or that one. Those ones are $3 each, and these ones are only 30 cents a piece, so that's pretty sweet. And of course the ASIC there, the Antminer L3 Plus, it's running a Hivon firmware for HiveOS, so it is free no matter what you do. So that's always going to be free right there because it has the firmware in it. So let's take a look and see exactly how much RTM and what is it worth that we did mine in 1 week on these CPUs. Okay, so let's have a look at our actual profits here. Here I am at the R-Plant pool, which is the pool I currently use for mining Raptoreum. And we'll just go through our days. Now the first couple of days I was still doing some of my tests, so my workstation stuff was off and on, and I was swapping the rig back and forth for different types of tests. But here you can see 9,141, 9,023, 9,005, 9,303, and this is where I kind of started getting everything online and they stayed online. And 9,444, 9,553, and 9,449 Raptoreum per day. Now up here you can see I'm getting ready for my next payout. I'm at 8,615 coins. My payout is set for 9,000. We're at 1,166, which is mine. It's just waiting to mature and authenticate on the network here. So once it does mature, it will move into our balance here, and then we'll get our payout, obviously, because let's look at, we're at 9,700 RTM rough average right there. So pretty much 10,000 is what we're getting per day. But I do have this set at 9,000 payouts because when I do have my workstation offline and something happens and it's off longer than I usually have it or something, or I'm playing a game or something, then I might not hit that 9,000 limit. So I just keep it as is. But again, my workstation is always fluctuating off and on, so that's why I do set it a little bit lower than what I could possibly get of around 10,000 per day. Here you can see I am recording and mining at the same time. We're sitting at an average of 3 kilohash on the 5950X. Now I only have CL16 RAM in here of 32 gigabytes. I should probably upgrade it sometime. We will see a nice little boost. As you saw in my video the other day, CL14 non-overclocked RAM seems to be the nice sweet spot for CPU mining with Ryzen CPUs. But again, I have not done fully tested out this CPU, so it may act a little bit different. So I added it up, and the past 7 days came out to 64,918 Raptoreum. So let's see what that works out in USD. Now we are down. It says here, it says 8, and here it says 10.5, so I'm not really sure what it is. Usually a couple days ago, Raptoreum was sitting at about 0.0014. Now it's sitting at 0.11995. But USD wise, we're sitting at $77.83 for this past week going by. I got to swap that over to Canadian here so we can kind of look at an ROI number and whatnot. So Canadian dollar right here. So $98.35. I checked it. I think it was this morning or last night, and it would have equaled up to about 120 Canadian. So yes, the price is definitely down. I just thought it shot up, but I swapped it to Canadian. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? But yeah, so $98.35. Now to build one of these rigs, it cost me about $800, which is depending if you're getting an AIB or a Founders Edition card, it's about the same amount as buying an RTX 3070. As you know, once Ethereum does move to proof of stake, profits are dramatically going to drop, so who knows what the future will hold. So let's just say $800 here is what I usually pay, because I find everything as cheap as possible. Some of these CPUs I found for only like $400 to $450, and then the motherboard is like $110 and whatnot. So here we go. So divided by 98, just rough estimate. So that's looking at 8.16. Oh, what am I doing? I totally butchered that. I'm sorry, guys. So I got to go 98 because that's for the week, and I got to times that by 4 for the month. So about $392 per month on my CPU rigs currently. So almost $400 isn't too bad for CPU mining, especially when people say you're burning too much power, they're not efficient. Well, if you saw my last video, we're only using 97 watts per rig, so we're under 500 watts for the whole all 6 CPUs over there. So it's pretty efficient actually, especially on Raptoreum. Now XMR and stuff, it's a little different story because it does use quite a bit more power, and CPU, it's a lot more strain on your CPU as well. You need a little beefier cooler and whatnot for it. But here we go. So 392. So we're going to divide 392 by 800. See exactly what ROI for me to build a new rig would be. So I totally almost 392. Where are you? There you go. Boom. So just over 2 months, and I could go build myself another rig. Again, now the ROI for an individual, a single rig, is probably about 1 year. We can just figure that out right quick. So I'll just cancel this out. I'll go into Raptoreum here. So we're going to go 98. We just go 98. We're going to divide that by the 6 there. Obviously, our 5950 is kind of a rough ordeal in there. We're going to times that by 4. So we're doing $65.33 per month on a single rig. So we're going to divide that by 800. So 65 and that. So yeah, about 12 months. So about 1 year is the ROI on a CPU. I know it might not look too great right now, but again, CPUs could potentially, unless Ravencoin and other coins do see a dramatic price increase, the difficulty that is going to be coming over could potentially put you in the red zone. That means you are losing like 4 to 6 cents on an RTX 3080 per day, and here you're actually in the green. So depending long term what you want to do, this could look like a better way to go. That's why I'm kind of stacking up on CPUs, but again, it's way too early to tell what could actually happen there. Okay guys, so that pretty much sums up this video. That is what I mined in the past week on Raptoreum with these mining rigs. Now I will do another one when we actually get to a month to see what's actually going on there and how well these are doing. And Raptoreum, remember, it is a fairly new coin, and smart contracts and stuff will be coming to them soon. So say in a year, 2, 3 years time, what if Raptoreum does end up, say, hitting $1? That means this week I just mined $64,000. So if that ever does come into play, that is pretty insane. But hey, you know what? It's crypto. We have no idea what's going to happen. So stay tuned and we will find out on this crypto mining journey. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, bell notification. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabid out. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you haven't, please comment, subscribe, and like this video, as well as check out one of these other videos if you have not seen it yet. I do try to stream every Saturday and Sunday, so stay tuned for more future content.